Hey everyone, so this is a 7th generation Amazon Fire HD8, which I believe came out in 2017. This is actually my mom's. She bought it back when it was new. She used it for a bit and then she forgot about it. So it's probably been sitting around in her house for about 3 or 4 years now, not being used. Because again, she totally forgot about it until she went to go buy one, a brand new one, the other day, a 2022 version. And I reminded her that she had one, and she's like, "Oh yeah," she just totally forgot about it. Uh, so let's go ahead. We'll see how this still holds up today, almost 6 years later. It has been updated. It can only get Fire OS 5, whereas the brand new ones will have Fire OS 8. And honestly, I don't know what much of a difference there is between them, except for the new ones also have a screen recorder built into them. This does not. You can get one off of the Google Play Store. Um, yeah, there's really not that much with an interface wise that I can see much of a difference. As you still have, you still have Amazon A on here. Of course, you have your Wi-Fi and your Bluetooth and your all that good stuff. Quick settings. Yeah, blue shade, which I use all the time. But let's go ahead on and we'll start using this guy. So first we'll go into Silk Browser here. So this is actually surprisingly pretty quick. I don't know if you'd be able to notice the difference between this and a brand new one, unless they were side by side. So let's actually go ahead. Alright, let's actually go ahead here and we will hit desktop site. One thing I will say is when we first charged this thing back up, again, it was sitting for at least probably 3 or 4 years, not being used. So I think we kind of damaged the battery a bit. We charged it up, we updated it, and left it to update overnight on its own, not being plugged in. And the next day it was completely dead. Then that was about 2 days ago, and then today I charged it up to about 88%, and then left it while I went to work for about 8 hours. And it only dropped down by about 2% battery. Now I've been using it, and you can see it is at 80%. So let's see what it goes down to at the end of this video. And that is, so it lost about 8% battery. That is with downloading a few apps and updating a few things. I'm messing around with it for a moment here before this video. So battery might be okay still. It might not be. Again, I think it's mostly because it was sitting there dead for quite some time. But anyway, you guys can see this loads in really well. Pokemon's website, which is an easier website to load in. Alright, we'll go into Best Buys. And I did not delete history. For those that want to know, I did not delete the history before doing this video because this is a budget tablet. Even the new ones, they're better off if you do not delete your history. It just makes things a lot quicker. Let's go ahead here and we'll hit the Apple icon there, or the Apple computer. We'll hit the new expensive base model iPad, the iPad 10. See, like this stuff is loading in just fine. Best Buy's website is a bit of a heavier website. So once this loads in a bit more, we'll zoom in. Go ahead here and hit the first one. And I mean, honestly, I don't know if you'd be able to tell the difference between this and a brand new one. The brand new 2022s that just came out a little bit ago. As far as internet browsing speed, unless you're side by side, because you can see this loads in pretty well. I don't really think there's much difference between, much slower than a new one would be. Again, maybe it is if they're side by side. But again, all these budget tablets in this price range, even double, triple the price range, have a little bit of issues loading in everything on Best Buy's website quickly. You kind of have to get a more premium tablet that can do the heavier tasks quicker. Otherwise, you have this where it loads in, like all the little pictures. Not everything loads in super fast. Alright, so I just skipped ahead, so you already not need to sit here and look at that. We'll do one more thing here, that is go to Apple's website, because they do have some cool, I don't know what the right word is, but they do have some cool stuff on their site to see how well the tablet still works. You know, they have some cool images and they have some cool animations. There you go. That's the word. So I can see this works just fine. It's a pretty quick animation and it's not lagging. Of course, you can zoom in. Now, this is just an HD display, just like the brand new HD8s are as well. It's not full HD. In order to get that, you need to get yourself an HD10 or HD10 Plus. But with that said, I don't have any issues with this screen. I mean, if you look at it from a weird angle, it looks just fine. Where some other tablets in this price range will have some weird visuals going on when you do that, because they're cheap screens. This still looks pretty good. You can see this is loading in just fine. Alright, then we'll go into Roblox to show you guys how this plays. And then we'll finish this off with a YouTube speaker test here. I do want to mention, just you can download Google Play Store on these, which is awesome and so much better than the App Store. So let's go on into Roblox here. So this it'll probably have a bit more issue with. And usually when I test tablets for Roblox, I usually start off with Royal High, but even the brand new ones of this tablet are not able to load in Royal High, even on low graphics. It usually just kicks you out. You know, the 2020 version can play it in low graphics, but the brand new one I haven't been able to play Royal High. Hopefully that made some sense. So my point is, I'm not going to try Royal High on this because it's just too graphical, and I know this is not going to be able to take it if the new 2022s cannot take it. Those have a newer processor, of course. They have more RAM, and that includes the Plus. Again, it's like the 2020 version I have can play Royal High. The 2022 version cannot for some reason. It might be optimization. It might be, I really don't know. But we're not going to try it on this device. We will do Brookhaven here, which is like a open world type game. For those that do not know, Brookhaven role playing. And I will jump ahead. Oh, there you go. Again, we are just in low graphics. We're not going to change that. It's again, budget tablets usually low graphics, maybe a little bit higher. Important thing is that they are able to play or not. And you guys can see, let's go on, jump on a dark motorcycle here. Oh, nope, wrong seat. Alright, we can even turn on our light. Turn on that. I'm not going to turn on volume because Roblox likes to get people in trouble for having volume on. Vehicles are not the quickest in here, which is just fine because I'm not very good at driving in these games. And I totally smashed into that Jeep. But you guys can see there's really no issues. Except for I keep having this weird issue. Hopefully you guys can see that. Like, it just quits driving and then it gives me a weird angle. It's just the weirdest like bug thing going on here. It's just super weird. So let's get off of that. But you guys can see really no lag. Except for, of course, it's nighttime, so you can't really see it too well. Or as good as you could if it were daytime. But because we're in low graphics, stuff will just kind of pop in and pop out. Just because you're in low graphics. But if you had a device that can do max graphics, I do not have that happen as much. Alright, so that is it for Roblox. I might make another video comparing this versus the newer ones in that respect. But actually, before we go into the YouTube speaker test, I wanted to show you guys how books look on here. And as you would expect, they look just fine. They're awesome. I love these devices for this use. They're cheaper than an actual Kindle e-reader. And you actually get color. So if you do any sort of books that have color on them, like comics or whatever, they actually have color, unlike the Kindle e-readers. And of course, it is nice and snappy. There's no issue here. So I just wanted to show y'all that here, and what you can see. It looks better in real life, of course. The camera is kind of messing it up. But of course, you can read it in different ways as well. It goes back and forth pretty quick. I just wanted to show that off because I think this is probably one of the best uses of these devices. These Kindle Fire devices or Amazon Fire devices is their e-reader. They just work so well for that. Alright, then let's go ahead and do a quick speaker test here. So just like on the newer ones, you still have, or you had dual speakers. So you have one here, stereo speakers. This does have a case on it. We can see it does not obstruct it. But real quick, this is actually my 2020 version, which the case still fits in 2022. We can see actually on the case here are your speakers, and it actually kind of puts them back towards you, the music or the sound back towards you, which is pretty cool. Instead of it just going straight out, it actually kind of redirects them towards you. Sorry about the fingerprints over that guy. That I use quite a bit still. I actually use that more than 2022s. So let's go ahead and do a speaker test here. So this is some royalty-free music. Volume is up all the way. And starting at the 20-second mark like we always do for these videos. Versus this is again the 2020 version. I just took off the case. So I do think the old one does have actually quieter speakers. The new one is a little bit louder. They do sound okay though. I don't think they're bad sounding. They're just pretty dang quiet. Especially if you're trying to listen to it in any sort of noisy environment. It'll be a little bit on the quiet side. But I mean, this still works. Like, there's really no issues I have with this. Yeah, the battery went down by about 4% in this video. But again, that could be because it was sitting around for about 3 or 4 years or so without being used. And I think it kind of affects the battery in a way. But I mean, it's still a decent looking device. It still works very well for what it's supposed to be used for, which is basic tablet uses. Yeah, so I will be making a video comparing this towards the new to the new ones, and we'll see how much slower, or if it's slower at all, than the new ones are. Thank you all very much for watching. As always, I really do appreciate you. Hope you have a good one. Goodbye.